Ever get that feeling like, you know, your money just kind of disappears, vanishes into thin air. You work hard, you earn it, but then poof, where'd it go?
It's a mystery, isn't it? A financial enigma that we've probably all grappled with at some point.
Yeah. And today we're going deep, like
Yeah.
really deep, into a topic that could totally change the way you think about your finances. We're talking about, and this is a big one, God's ways of managing money.
Now, before you tune out thinking, oh no, not another lecture on strict rules and restrictions, hold on. This isn't about that at all.
It's not.
It's about discovering these timeless principles. Like, honestly, these principles can bring purpose, even freedom,
Yeah.
to like every area of your life, not just your bank account.
Yeah. And what's so cool about this is that these aren't just some abstract ideas. This is wisdom tested and tried over, centuries, even millennia. It's really about how we use what we've been given. It connects to our values, our faith, the big picture stuff.
Exactly. So over the course of this deep dive, we're going to explore 7 key areas. Think of them as like the pillars of this whole approach.
7 pillars. I like that. Okay, go on.
All right, so first, we'll dig into budgeting with purpose. Then it's the power of saving, followed by, and this is crucial, investing wisely. We'll also explore living debt-free.
Ooh, that's a good one. Freedom.
Yes. Then we'll experience the joy of generosity, understand why seeking godly counsel is so important, and finally we'll reflect on honoring God with your wealth.
Wow. That's quite a journey. And for you, our listener, our hope for this deep dive is that you'll walk away with a deep, like a gut level understanding of these 7 areas.
Right, like we want you to know not just the what, but the why. Exactly. Why does this matter?
Right.
What's in it for you? What are the good things, the not so good things that can happen if we ignore these principles?
Right.
We're going to look at what people are actually doing right here in the USA to make this work in their lives.
And also, what are those common traps we can fall into? Those things that trip us up. We'll cover all that.
So many good things to unpack.
So much good stuff. All right, let's jump right in. Our first pillar, budgeting with purpose. Now, I gotta admit, that word budget, sometimes it makes me think of, I don't know, deprivation. Like I'm constantly saying no to myself.
Right, like you're on some kind of financial diet.
Exactly. So is that really what we're talking about here?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
I think a better way to think about budgeting is to view it as stewardship. It's about making conscious decisions about where your money goes.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about restricting yourself. It's about aligning your resources with what really matters to you.
Okay, I like that. Stewardship. So if we do this, we have this kind of intentional budget. What are the benefits?
Well, first off, you gain a sense of clarity and control. When you know where your money's going, you don't have that anxiety, that feeling of where did it all go? You're in the driver's seat.
That makes sense.
Second, a budget helps you achieve your goals, whether it's buying a house, paying off debt, giving more to your church, or finally taking that dream vacation. A budget helps you get there.
And doesn't it also reduce stress? Like knowing that you're prepared for those surprise expenses, that's gotta feel good.
Huge stress reliever. Like if you know you can handle those unexpected bills,
Right.
it frees up your mind to focus on other things.
Right, it's all connected. So on the flip side, what happens if we don't budget? What are the consequences of not being intentional with our money?
Well, one of the biggest consequences is the dreaded paycheck to paycheck cycle. Without a plan, spending creeps up, and you're always waiting for that next payday.
Yep. Been there.
It's stressful, right? And it can easily lead to increased debt. When you're not tracking your spending, you overspend, and then you rely on credit cards or loans to make ends meet. It's a slippery slope.
And we can also miss out on some amazing opportunities.
Right, you might not even realize how much you could be saving or investing, or how much more you could be giving if you had a clear picture of your finances. A budget helps you unlock those possibilities.
Okay, so let's get practical. How are people here in the USA actually putting this budgeting principle into action? What are they doing?
Well, one thing we're seeing is a huge increase in the use of budgeting apps. There are some great ones out there, like Every Dollar, You Need a Budget, even FaithFi for those who want a faith-based approach.
Oh, I've heard of those.
They make it so easy to track your income, categorize your spending, and allocate your money according to your budget. It takes the guesswork out of it.
Technology making life easier. I like it.
It really does. And another thing people are doing is having regular budget meetings, especially for couples, setting aside like even just 15-20 minutes a week to review their finances together. That keeps everyone on the same page.
Communication is key, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then there's the good old-fashioned envelope system.
Oh, yeah. That's classic.
It is. You allocate cash into different envelopes for different spending categories. This is great for things like groceries, entertainment, dining out. It's a visual, tangible way to stay on track.
It's like, okay, this is my eating out money. When it's gone, it's gone.
Exactly. Now, of course, not everyone's rocking the budgeting world. There are some common mistakes people make.
Let's talk about those pitfalls. What are we seeing?
One mistake, and Dave Ramsey talks about this a lot, is ignoring the small expenses. We might track the big bills, but those daily coffees, those little impulse buys, they add up.
Oh, yeah. Those little things can really sneak up on you.
They do. And then there's the whole issue of not setting clear financial goals. If you don't have a why for your budget, it just feels like a chore, you know?
Right. Like, what are you working towards? What's the point?
Exactly. And it's easy to get discouraged and give up. A goal gives you something to aim for. And in relationships, one of the biggest mistakes is not communicating openly about money. If couples aren't on the same page about their budget and their spending habits, it can create some serious tension.
Makes sense. Now, we've talked about the nuts and bolts of budgeting, but how does this connect to success in life beyond just having a balanced checkbook?
Well, budgeting is about being intentional with your resources, not just money, but time and energy too.
So it's like a bigger picture thing.
Exactly. Just like you might plan your day to make time for important tasks or relationships, planning your finances ensures you're using your money for the things that matter most to you. So if family time is a high value, your budget will likely reflect that. If spiritual growth is a priority, you might allocate funds to your church or other ministries. It's about living on purpose.
I love that. It's about your values coming to life in your actual day-to-day choices. All right, let's move on to our second pillar, the power of saving. It's more than just having a little extra stashed away, right?
It really is. Saving is like planting a seed for the future. You're putting something aside today to prepare for tomorrow's needs and opportunities. It's an act of faith, really, and good planning.
So what are the benefits of making saving a regular habit?
Well, first and foremost, it gives you a sense of security. Having that financial buffer means you're prepared for those unexpected events, job loss, medical emergencies, or even just a broken appliance.
It's like having a safety net, right?
Exactly. Peace of mind is priceless.
Mhm.
And secondly, saving gives you the freedom to invest. You can't really put your money to work for you in the long term if you haven't first built up some savings.
So saving is like the foundation for investing.
Exactly. And then third, saving is crucial for reaching those big long-term goals, retirement, buying a home, helping your kids with college, all that good stuff. Saving consistently makes those dreams a reality.
Okay, so now what about the downsides of not saving? What can happen if we consistently neglect this?
Well, not saving can make you really vulnerable. Even a small unexpected expense can throw your finances into chaos if you don't have any savings to cushion the blow.
Yeah, it's like being out on a tightrope with no safety net below.
Exactly. And then there are your long-term goals. Without saving, those goals might stay just dreams, or you'll have to go into debt to achieve them, which just creates more problems down the road. And then there's the emotional side of things.
Yeah, the stress.
Constant worry about money, that can take a toll on your health, your relationships, everything. Saving really does bring peace of mind.
So let's shift gears and talk about how people are putting this saving principle into action. What are some strategies that folks are using here in the USA?
Well, one of the most effective strategies is automating your savings. You set up a system where money is automatically transferred from your checking to your savings account every payday. It's like paying yourself first.
I love that. Pay yourself first. It's so simple but powerful.
It really is.
Yeah.
And another key strategy is to focus on building an emergency fund. Financial experts, like those over at Ramsey Solutions, recommend having 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses set aside in a readily accessible account.
So that's like your financial safety net.
Exactly. That way, if you lose your job or have a medical emergency, you have a cushion to fall back on. And then, once you have that solid foundation, you can start saving for specific goals, like a down payment on a house or that dream trip you mentioned.
It's like a roadmap for your financial future.
Exactly. Now, of course, there are some common mistakes people make when it comes to saving.
Let's talk about those pitfalls. What are some things people should watch out for?
One big one is prioritizing immediate gratification over long-term security. It's easy to get caught up in the "I want it now" mentality, but that can really hurt you in the long run.
It's like that marshmallow experiment, right? Can you delay gratification for a bigger reward later on?
Exactly. We see this principle all over the Bible, too, like in the story of Joseph saving grain during the years of plenty to prepare for the famine. It's all about planning ahead. Another mistake is underestimating how much you might need for unexpected expenses. A lot of people don't have enough saved for emergencies, and that can lead to some really tough situations
Yeah, life throws curveballs.
all the time. And the final mistake is not taking advantage of compound interest. The earlier you start saving, even if it's small amounts, the more time your money has to grow. Compound interest is a powerful force, but it takes time to work its magic.
So saving is about more than just money, right? It's about character, too.
Absolutely. Saving teaches you discipline, patience, and foresight. It helps you delay gratification, which is a skill that can be applied to all areas of life.
Like saving your energy for important tasks or being patient in relationships. It's all connected.
Exactly. Saving in one area helps you save in others. It's about being a good steward of all your resources, not just your finances.
So well said. All right, let's move on to investing wisely. This can seem like a daunting world, but it's a crucial part of building long-term financial health, isn't it?
It absolutely is. Investing is about putting your savings to work, giving it the potential to grow faster over time. It's part of being a good steward of what God has given you, allowing those resources to multiply and have a greater impact.
So what are the big benefits of investing? What can we gain from it?
Well, the most obvious benefit is wealth building. Over time, investing, when done strategically and thoughtfully, can significantly grow your resources, helping you become more financially secure and independent.
Right.
Yeah.
Like you're not just saving money, you're growing it.
Exactly. And then there's the whole issue of meeting those big long-term goals, retirement, education, maybe leaving a legacy for your family, or supporting the causes you believe in.
Investing can make those goals more attainable.
It definitely can. Relying on savings alone, especially in today's economic climate, might not be enough to achieve those big dreams.
Now, what about the risks? What happens if we don't invest wisely, or worse, if we don't invest at all?
One of the biggest dangers is falling behind inflation. Over time, if your money isn't growing, its purchasing power diminishes. It's like your money is slowly shrinking.
That's scary.
It is. And if you're not investing, you're missing out on opportunities for your money to grow and compound. It's just sitting there stagnant instead of working for you.
Okay, so what are some smart strategies that people are using here in the USA to invest wisely? What are some of the hallmarks of a good approach?
Well, one fundamental principle is diversification. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, as the saying
To
goes.
spread the risk.
Exactly. You want to spread your investments across different types of assets like stocks, bonds, real estate, to reduce your overall risk. And another key element is having a long-term perspective. Investing is a marathon, not a sprint. You have to be patient and focus on sustainable growth over time.
So don't panic when the market takes a dip.
Exactly. Ride it out. The market goes up, it goes down, but over the long term, it tends to trend upwards. And finally, many people find it helpful to seek professional advice. A qualified financial advisor can provide personalized guidance based on your individual circumstances, your risk tolerance, and your goals.
It's like having a coach in your corner to help you make the best decisions.
Exactly. Someone who can guide you through the ups and downs and keep you focused on the long game.
Now let's talk about some common mistakes. What are some things that people often get wrong when it comes to investing?
Well, one big mistake is chasing those hot stocks or trying to get rich quick. You know, those schemes that promise you'll make a fortune overnight.
Yeah, those always seem too good to be true.
They are. They often lead to big losses, and they go against the biblical principles of diligence and steady growth. Another mistake is emotional investing. Letting fear or greed drive your decisions instead of rational thinking and a solid strategy, that's a recipe for disaster.
So it's important to keep your emotions in check and stick to the plan.
Exactly. And finally, a lot of people invest without really understanding their own risk tolerance. If you're constantly stressed and worried about your investments, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah, you shouldn't lose sleep over your investments.
Right. It's about finding that balance between growth and peace of mind.
So how does this principle of investing wisely connect to success in life beyond just our finances?
Well, investing wisely teaches you to be prudent, patient, and strategic. It's about making informed decisions, not impulsive ones. And these skills are valuable in every area of life.
So it's like investing in yourself, in your relationships, in your spiritual growth.
Exactly. Just like financial investments can grow over time, so can the investments you make in yourself and the people around you.
I love that. It's a holistic approach to success. All right, let's move on to an area that can be truly liberating, living debt-free. Now, when we talk about debt, we're mainly focusing on consumer debt, right? Credit card debt, car loans, that sort of thing.
Exactly. While some types of debt, like a mortgage, can sometimes be a useful tool, the kind of debt we're talking about here, revolving credit card balances,
Yeah.
those high-interest loans, that kind of debt can really weigh you down. It can steal your peace of mind and make it hard to reach your financial goals. There's that proverb that says, the borrower is slave to the lender.
Ooh, that's a powerful image. So what are the benefits of working towards living debt-free?
Well, the most obvious benefit is financial freedom. When you're not making all those debt payments, you have so much more money to do other things. Save, invest, give, travel, you name it.
Like you're breaking free from those financial chains.
Exactly. It's like a huge weight lifted off your shoulders. And then there's the reduction in stress. Debt can be so anxiety-provoking. Becoming debt-free brings a huge sense of relief and peace.
Yeah, it's like you can finally breathe again.
Exactly. And then, when you're not burdened by debt, you're often more able to be generous. You have more resources to give to your church, to support causes you care about, to help people in need.
So it's not just about you, it's about impacting the world around you.
Exactly. It's about being a blessing to others.
Now, what about the downsides of being in debt? What are some of the negative consequences?
Well, one big problem is that it limits your options. When so much of your income is going towards debt payments, you can't pursue other opportunities like changing careers, starting a business, or even just having the flexibility to handle life's surprises.
Yeah, it's like being trapped in a financial cage.
Exactly. And then there's the increased financial risk. If you have a lot of debt and you experience a job loss or a medical emergency, it can be really hard to recover. It can even lead to bankruptcy.
It's like a house of cards that can easily collapse.
Exactly. And then there's the spiritual impact. The stress and worry of debt can really affect your relationship with God. It can make it hard to focus on the things that matter most.
So it's not just a financial issue, it's a spiritual one too.
Absolutely.
Okay, so what are some practical strategies that people are using to become debt-free? How are they tackling this challenge?
Well, there are a couple of popular methods, like the debt snowball and the debt avalanche.
I've heard of those.
They're both about paying off debts systematically. The snowball focuses on paying off the smallest debts, first to build momentum, and then you tackle the bigger ones. The avalanche focuses on paying off the debts with the highest interest rates first to save money in the long run.
Smart strategies.
They are. And a lot of people find success by simply avoiding new debt. They make a commitment to not take out any new loans or use credit cards unless they can pay the balance in full each month.
So it's about breaking that cycle of borrowing.
Exactly. And a simple but effective strategy is to use cash as much as possible. When you pay with cash, you're less likely to overspend and get yourself into more debt. It's a great way to stay within your budget.
Okay, now let's talk about some common mistakes people make when it comes to debt. What are some things we should avoid?
One big mistake is relying on credit cards for everyday living expenses. When you use credit cards for things you can't afford to pay for with cash, you're just digging yourself deeper into debt.
It's like a vicious cycle.
It is. And another mistake is taking out loans for things you don't really need. Financing a vacation or the latest gadget might seem tempting, but those things depreciate quickly, and you're left with the debt long after the enjoyment is gone.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
Definitely not. And then there's the mistake of ignoring high-interest debt. If you have credit card debt with a high interest rate, you need to prioritize paying that off as quickly as possible. Otherwise, you'll end up paying way more in interest over time.
It's like throwing money away.
It is. It's so important to be strategic about paying off debt.
So how does living debt-free connect to success in life beyond just having a better credit score?
Well, becoming debt-free teaches you self-control, contentment, and the importance of living within your means. And these are valuable qualities that can benefit you in all areas of life.
So it's not just about money, it's about character.
Exactly. Think about it. We can get into debt in other areas of our lives too.
Like emotional debt, holding on to grudges and resentment.
Exactly. Or professional debt, like not fulfilling your commitments or letting people down, and even spiritual debt, like when we haven't confessed our sins and sought God's forgiveness.
Wow, I never thought about it like that.
It's all connected. Living debt-free is about striving to be free in every area of your life. It's about living in alignment with God's principles and experiencing the peace and joy that comes with that.
That's such a powerful perspective. All right, let's move on to a topic that brings a special kind of joy. The joy of generosity. It's about so much more than just giving money, right?
It really is. You know, for Christians, giving isn't just an obligation, it's a privilege. It's a way to reflect God's generous nature, to shift our focus from ourselves to others, and to experience a deep sense of joy.
So what are the benefits of living a generous life?
Well, generosity fosters spiritual growth. When we choose to give freely, it softens our hearts and loosens the grip that materialism can have on us. It's a way to align our hearts with God's heart.
It's like a spiritual muscle we're exercising.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And generosity makes a difference in the world. It allows us to support God's work, to help those who are struggling, to bring hope and healing to others. It's about being a part of something bigger than ourselves.
And it makes us happier too, right?
It does.
Yeah.
There's actually a lot of research that shows that giving makes people happier and healthier. It's a win-win.
Okay, so what happens if we don't embrace generosity? What are some of the consequences of holding onto our resources too tightly?
Well, it can lead to spiritual stagnation. When we hoard our resources, it's like we're building a wall between ourselves and God.
Yeah, it's like we're closing our hearts off to the needs of others.
Exactly. We miss out on opportunities to be a blessing. And ultimately, materialism can't bring lasting joy. It always leaves you wanting more.
So let's talk about how people are putting this generosity principle into practice. What are some common ways people are giving here in the USA?
Well, a lot of Christians practice tithing, giving 10% of their income to their church.
Right, that's a common biblical principle.
It is. And beyond tithing, many people also support various ministries and charities that align with their values. Organizations that are working to alleviate poverty, fight injustice, or spread the gospel. And generosity isn't just about money, it's also about giving your time and talents.
Like volunteering.
Exactly. Volunteering at a soup kitchen, mentoring a young person, using your skills to help a nonprofit. Those are all acts of generosity that can have a huge impact.
It's about using what you have to make a difference.
Precisely.
Now let's talk about some common mistakes people make when it comes to giving. What are some things to avoid?
Well, one mistake is focusing solely on accumulating wealth without a corresponding heart for giving back. It's like we're missing the whole point of stewardship. The Bible is clear that we're supposed to use what we have to bless others. Another mistake is giving out of obligation instead of joy. When we give grudgingly, it loses its spiritual impact. And finally, not involving the whole family in giving can be a missed opportunity. It's important to teach our kids the value of generosity from a young age.
So it's not just about writing a check, it's about cultivating a heart attitude of giving.
Exactly. It's about being cheerful givers, as the Bible says.
So how does generosity connect to overall success in life?
Well, generosity cultivates compassion, empathy, and connection. It helps us break free from the trap of self-centeredness and experience the joy of living for something bigger than ourselves.
It's like we're tapping into a deeper source of fulfillment.
Exactly. And that sense of fulfillment spills over into every area of life, our relationships, our work, our spiritual walk. When we give generously, we receive so much more in return.
Okay, let's move on to seeking godly counsel. We're not meant to navigate all of life's challenges alone, right?
Absolutely not.
Right.
We're designed for community, and that includes seeking advice from wise and trusted people, especially when it comes to our finances.
So what are the benefits of seeking godly counsel in financial matters?
Well, for starters, it can lead to better decisions. Counselors can offer perspectives and insights that we might not have considered on our own, helping us avoid costly mistakes. They've been there, done that, you know.
Experience is a valuable teacher.
It really is. And then there's accountability. Sharing your financial goals and challenges with someone you trust can provide motivation and support to stay on track. It's like having a cheerleader in your corner.
Someone to keep you accountable and celebrate your wins with you.
Exactly. And finally, seeking counsel can bring peace of mind. Knowing that you've sought wise guidance from people who care about you, that can give you confidence in your decisions.
Now, what about the flip side? What happens if we choose to go it alone and not seek godly counsel?
Well, we can make some pretty bad decisions. You know, we might lack the knowledge or experience to make sound financial choices.
We don't know what we don't know.
Right. And we're also more vulnerable to scams and risky schemes. Without wise counsel, it's easy to be swayed by promises that sound too good to be true. And then, when things go wrong, which they inevitably do sometimes, it's much harder to deal with those challenges alone.
Yeah, it can feel isolating and overwhelming.
It can. Seeking counsel is a sign of wisdom, not weakness.
Okay, so how are people actually seeking godly counsel in their financial lives? Where are they going for this kind of advice?
Well, a lot of people are intentionally choosing financial advisors who share their faith and values. They're looking for professionals who can not only give sound financial advice, but who can also do so through a biblical lens.
So it's like a holistic approach to financial planning.
Exactly. And many people also seek counsel from their pastors, elders, or mentors within their church community. They recognize the value of spiritual wisdom when it comes to their finances. And then there are financial Bible studies, small groups, and courses that offer a great opportunity to learn, grow, and be accountable in a supportive community setting.
It's like surrounding yourself with a network of wise counsel.
Exactly. It takes a village, as they say.
Okay, now let's talk about some common mistakes people make when it comes to seeking godly counsel. What are some things to watch out for?
Well, one mistake is thinking they already know everything. Overconfidence can blind us to the wisdom that others have to offer. The Bible is full of warnings about the dangers of pride.
Humility is key.
It is. Another mistake is taking advice from unqualified sources. Just because someone has a lot of money or seems successful doesn't mean they're giving godly advice.
Yeah, it's important to be discerning.
Absolutely. And sometimes people are just too proud or embarrassed to ask for help. They don't want to admit they're struggling.
But reaching out for help is a sign of strength, not weakness.
Exactly.
So how does seeking godly counsel connect to overall success in life?
Well, it cultivates humility, wisdom, and discernment. It reminds us that we don't have all the answers and that we need each other.
We're not meant to do life alone.
Exactly. And this principle applies to every area of life, not just finances. Seeking wise counsel in our relationships, our careers, our spiritual journeys, it all helps us grow and make better decisions.
It's like having a compass to guide us in the right direction.
Precisely.
All right, finally, let's dive into the most important principle of all, honoring God with your wealth. This one really gets to the heart of our perspective on money, doesn't it?
It really does. It's about recognizing that everything we have ultimately belongs to God. We're just stewards of His resources. Our primary goal should be to use those resources in a way that brings Him glory.
So it's about more than just giving a percentage of our income. It's about a heart attitude.
Absolutely. It's about surrendering our finances to God's control, seeking His guidance in how we earn, spend, save, and invest our money.
So what are the benefits of honoring God with our wealth?
Well, it deepens our relationship with Him. When we acknowledge His ownership, it cultivates humility and gratitude. We realize that we're not in control, He is.
And it shifts our focus from ourselves to Him.
Exactly. And when we use our resources for God's purposes, it has the potential for eternal impact. We're investing in things that will last, in His kingdom, in the lives of others. And the Bible is full of promises that God will bless those who honor Him with their wealth.
Now, what happens if we don't honor God with our wealth? What are the consequences of that?
Well, one danger is the idolatry of money. When we put our trust in our wealth instead of God, we've created an idol in our lives. And that can lead to all sorts of problems: greed, selfishness, anxiety, fear.
It's like we're worshiping money instead of God.
Exactly. And when we fail to honor God with our wealth, we miss out on His purpose for our lives. We were created to be generous, to be a blessing to others.
Ever get that feeling like, you know, your money just kind of disappears, vanishes into thin air? You work hard, you earn it, but then poof, where'd it go?
It's a mystery, isn't it? A financial enigma that we've probably all grappled with at some point.
Yeah. And today we're going deep, like
Yeah.
really deep, into a topic that could totally change the way you think about your finances. We're talking about, and this is a big one, God's ways of managing money.
Now, before you tune out thinking, oh no, not another lecture on strict rules and restrictions, hold on. This isn't about that at all.
It's not.
It's about discovering these timeless principles. Like, honestly, these principles can bring purpose, even freedom,
Yeah.
to like every area of your life, not just your bank account.
Yeah. And what's so cool about this is that these aren't just some abstract ideas. This is wisdom tested and tried over, centuries, even millennia. It's really about how we use what we've been given. It connects to our values, our faith, the big picture stuff.
Exactly. So over the course of this deep dive, we're going to explore 7 key areas. Think of them as like the pillars of this whole approach.
7 pillars. I like that. Okay, go on.
All right, so first, we'll dig into budgeting with purpose. Then it's the power of saving, followed by, and this is crucial, investing wisely. We'll also explore living